I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a I don't care. Did the by my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, on my totem is nothing. In the discussion, got them feelings I throw all my pain on percussion. The disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you almost spotted the feast. I've been on go mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride. Annie up, penny down, hand me down, thrift store, old drip. New money, too funny, old shorty, talk about old. I'm on they now, can't get a pass now. I'm a cash cow, keeping it brash now. It's trash now, I'ma spaz out. I've been killing my lows and living on highs. You see in the skies the proof. You could just see in my eyes that there is no lies. I cannot disguise the truth. I've been duck dog, getting in my new merch, colored duck sauce on the new couch with my chucks on. Get the on with that hate. I'm big cool on the small chat, cause I know now that I'm all that. Got a hawk guy on the ball cat, get the out of my face.
Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It's a beautiful Thursday. Beautiful Thursday in the sun. Now, my cam probably won't be up probably for about an hour. For whatever reason, my battery is depleted. Now, I could just run the cam, my webcam, but I don't really want to. I want that same camera quality. And so it'll be a bit of an audio podcast, at least for the first hour of the show. And I want to talk about numerous things today. There's some local things in the greater Cincinnati area that we must discuss, but there's also some things that are happening around the country you might find interesting. But I want to kick things off with a very interesting. I was very happy to see this. I want to talk about it a bit. An article about Black entrepreneurs. And according to data from the Kauffman Foundation, they did an analysis. What they found is that during the pandemic, we saw the largest surge in Black-owned business in the last 25 years. Now, the Black community has been overanalyzed to death. The Black family has been overanalyzed, okay? All these crazy ass folks out here, and nobody wants to analyze their music, their culture, their dress at all. Comes to us, we got to break it down to the very last compound, and what one person does is somehow emblematic of all of us. Well, I think that this particular story is great news to me. This says great things about the Black community to me. Now, you might read it differently. Good morning. According to data from the Kauffman Foundation, during the pandemic, we saw the largest surge in Black-owned businesses in the last 25 years. And this is part of the story as to why people are not returning back to the jobs that they had previous to the pandemic, right? It's not necessarily because the government was giving you $300 a week. It's because people are highly adaptable. Humans are highly adaptable. Americans are highly adaptable. And African Americans, melanated people, we have learned to adapt to circumstances just to survive. It's part of what makes us so spectacular. It's our resiliency. So parts of me is not surprised to hear this. The other part of me is very, very pleased to hear this. I think these are great things. Now, this data from the Kauffman Foundation mirrors findings from a recent study by the National Bureau of Economic Research. I'll say it again, the National Bureau of Economic Research. Before we get too deep into the show, family, please like and share this. Go ahead and like and share this so we can get our number up. Please like and share this morning, wherever you may be. I appreciate you in advance. See a lot of folk, everybody's on YouTube this morning. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, let me take a second myself. I want to make sure I like and in particular share the show back on Facebook and wherever else, Twitter, wherever you think somebody might, check out, like the show or the subject matter or the flow or whatever. Please take a second to share it with your family. And it's as simple as sharing it on your page. Just that simple. Good morning to you. Hold on, let me make sure I do what I need to do for me. All right. Again, pandemic sees the largest surge of Black-owned businesses. And I think that says great things about the Black community. We always focusing on the negative. We always talking about what we don't have and what's wrong. That, highlighting some Black excellence, I think, is exactly what we should be doing. I love this. It's the resiliency of Black people in America. It's like, oh, okay, I can't make my money that way. Well, I'm going to go back, and I always had some ideas that I wanted to put in place. I'm wondering, to the choppers, has anybody in a chop shop started a new business or a new revenue stream that the pandemic either gave you the time for, or maybe you made a shift in your business or how you make your money, or maybe you just had to do what you had to do to survive. Necessity is the hallmark of greatness. Necessity is the hallmark of greatness. I don't know about you, but when my back's against the wall, I form Voltron. When my back's against the wall, I form Voltron. Period. I go even harder. Back against the wall, back against the edge, shit. While Black Americans were also hit harder during the pandemic in terms of loss of life and income, at the same time, the National Bureau of Economic Research found that Black Americans were more likely to become entrepreneurs during the pandemic, and that new businesses were disproportionately located in Black neighborhoods. This is great. This is great about us. That is great news. That shows that what we know about us is absolutely true. Now, speaking generally, right? Back against the wall, we form Voltron. Push into a corner, we're going to rise out. I love that. That means ingenuity. And it makes sense to what I've been seeing too. Like what I've been seeing in social media and just in my own circle of friends and family. It makes sense because it mirrors that. I know a couple people that started new revenue streams. I know a few people that, shifted into new ventures during the pandemic. I love it. I love it. I support it. But I want to just think about it for a second. I mean, have you started a new business stream, revenue? Are you on the cusp of doing it? Matter of fact, just yesterday, somebody on my Instagram page, announced that she and a partner, 2 Black females, were starting a new business. I just loved it. I just liked it. Send some love. I love this. This is great news. Because they try to run that down on the Black community like we all just sitting around waiting for a goddamn welfare check. I don't know anybody like that. And if you have children and you're trying to raise a family, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Hell, this government supported white supremacy for a long time. I don't give a damn about it. That's why I don't have no problem with welfare. All these conversations about trying to do audits on low-income people, I'm not with any of that. Everybody knows, and if you don't know, I'm here to tell you this morning, the disparities that we still deal with in this country, the federal government played a huge role in that. So they should play a huge role in reversing it. That's why I'm 100% for reparations. Give me my money. Give my people what we deserve, and we'll know what to do with it. I've always said that about black folks. We know what to do with it. See, this part of the reason why they don't want to give us reparations, because a lot of people run around here like, oh, you ain't gonna do nothing but drink it away. Yeah, you're gonna always have the malt liquor, element of anything, right? Yeah. If every African American or foundational Black American, if every foundational Black American received a $500,000 windfall, you better damn skippy. It's gonna be a lot of gold chains and Lambos and frivolous spending. You damn skippy. But you know the other thing about that is a lot of people are gonna start Black wealth building. They're gonna make the right decision. I think the vast majority. You talking about changing the paradigm? That's why people so slow on reparations, because they already know, and these numbers bear that to be true. Man, listen, $500K. It'd be all Black everything everywhere. It'd be Black Wall Streets everywhere. I firmly believe that. Now, you're always gonna have that element of the community that's gonna do some dumbish, but that's their money. You do what you want to do. But I think the vast majority of folks it's gonna be foreign vulture. It's gonna be Black Wall Street, and they don't want that. The Karens and Darrens don't want that. To see Black folks come up that quickly, oh man, they ain't built for that. Some of these folks so fragile, they might implode. They might implode. This ain't fair. Why do they get the money? All this kind of nonsense. I love it. Again, if you're just tuning in, talking about a couple of things. Well, we're talking about two studies that were done recently. One by the so-called Kauffman Foundation. I ain't that hip to them, I'll be honest with you. And what they found is that Black entrepreneurship, right? Black-owned businesses surged, the largest surge in the last 25 years, born out of necessity. Born out of necessity. And the folks over the National Bureau of Economic Research found that Black Americans were more likely to become entrepreneurs during the pandemic. Now, if you go through the list of Black inventions, this country owes us a whole damn lot. A whole damn lot. Because of the ingenuity and creativity of Black creatives, right? Yeah, for sure. Like, they much rather run with the headlines about the shootings in the streets, and that's important. That's really important. We should talk about that, but crime is up all over the country, everywhere. Like, everybody's running around in Cincinnati talking about the crime, right? But if you go to my Facebook page, I reposted an interview that we had like before the pandemic in Cincinnati. I was asked to be a part of it. It was Kevin Aldrich, Byron from the Cincinnati Enquirer. Of course, Byron's no longer there. He's moved on. Damon Lynch, myself, a lot of good people, a lot of good brothers. And we were talking about the uptick in crime. This was previous to the pandemic. So the question is, what has the city of Cincinnati done between before the pandemic and now? The answer is not enough, obviously. The answer is not enough. There's a lot of people out there doing a lot of good things, but the answer is obviously not enough. And then the other thing about that is we had a so-called crime problem before the pandemic. The pandemic just exacerbated everything. If you had an addiction during the pandemic probably exacerbated it. If you had mental and or emotional issues previous to the pandemic most likely it made it worse. If you didn't give a damn about yourself and didn't mind killing one of your brothers or one of your sisters over some nonsense before the pandemic, more than likely after the pandemic, you probably feel the same way. And like I said, when this happens in the white community, it's just a whole different reaction. It's a whole different reaction. When it happens in the Black community, that becomes the number one story about us. That's not the number one story about us in Cincinnati or any damn where, quite honestly. It's not. I refuse to do it. I refuse to believe it. Good morning to you. So, what do you think about this? Is this consistent to your experience? I know you're black like I am. You're an African American like I am. I just want to know what's going on in your world. This is consistent to what I see around me and what I've been reading and what I feel. This is great news because it shows that black ingenuity is still there. That black magic is still there. That's what it shows. Yeah. They could try to beat it down and they could try to change the narrative, but the numbers are what the numbers are. Is that during the pandemic, a lot of black people got into their bag. They start thinking like, let me find another way. You know what I'm saying? They cut this revenue stream off. Oh, I need multiple revenue streams now. Oh, y'all ain't gonna stop this. I love that about us. I love that about us. That's a beautiful thing. Let that be the headline throughout the rest of the day. That is a beautiful thing. You feel me on that? That is beautiful. We need to turn that up. We need to turn that up. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. My cam is, I thought we was all the way charged. I do a good job of charging after every show. I plug it in this morning. It's talking about low battery. Low battery? Now I got several cams, but I don't want to use those. I don't want to use any of those. I want to use that one. So I'm going to charge that up during the first hour of the show. And when it gets ready, I'm going to turn the cam on. Until then, we got an audio podcast. We do it you go to audio podcast every day. Letty writes, my son started a car detail business in March and doing well. I love to hear that, Letty. Props to your son. Again, that's been consistent. I know a few people that made a pivot and or started something new as a new revenue stream for themselves during the pandemic. In part out of necessity and in part out of they had the time. They had the time. See what happens when you ain't slaving for somebody else? See what happens? That's all Americans ever needed was a little bit of time to step away from the daily grind, to think, to let those creative juices start to flowing, and then to go out and create. That's all we needed. But they try to work the working man to fucking death. They try to work you into the damn ground, grinding for the profits for somebody else. I say bump all of that. If I'm a grind and put my all into it, I'm going to do it for me. I made that pledge about my own talents many years ago. If I'm going to do all this kind of work and show prep and grind all hard, I'm doing it for me, nobody else. You know, and those that I rock with, you know what I'm saying? The team always, we everybody's come up when I come up, but you know what I'm saying? I just made that pledge to myself many years ago. I'm like, wait a minute. I ain't getting the most out of this. But yeah, I'm doing all the damn work. A later for that. And to me, I would sacrifice visibility for control and that peace of mind any day of the week. Any day of the week, twice, 4 times a day, every day of the week. I love hearing about that. Listen, do you know anybody? Maybe you did. I just want to give props to y'all, man, and props to us. Okay, you know, like I said, you know, there's a lot of issues right now in the city of Cincinnati. One of the most prevailing narratives is the crime that's happening, you know, primarily in the black community, and it should be talked about, and yada yada yada, and yabba dabba doo, and Skippy Doo, and all this kind of stuff, and it's Seven Dwarfs and Sinbad the Sailor, but there's a whole different narrative about us that I want to talk about as well that I think is being underreported. And that is the largest surge in black-owned businesses in this country in the last 25 years. That's black magic. We can build on that. We can build off of that. We can take strength out of that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not surprised because black people have always been flexible. We've always made the best from the circumstances. And this country, this world would be a whole different place if melanated creativity and genius wasn't a real thing. Some of these mofos still be in caves without us. You know what I'm saying? Counting leaves. It'd be a whole different reality without us. So I'm glad to see it still live and well in America. And that's what we got to push the federal government and state governments and local governments to spend that cash to invest in our own businesses. Y'all care about crime? Mm-hmm. Yeah, where the money at for the entrepreneurs? That's why, when I talk with back during the primary, when I was the host of the NAACP's forum, my question was, what is your Black wealth building strategy? And it has to be asked that way. We can't keep talking about Black poverty if we're not going to talk about Black wealth building, just like that. And to be honest with you, almost all of them, yabba dabba doo, what I got a plan. Is it specific to Black America? Well, it's a plan. What is your plan specifically for us? It's real simple. You see, Black Americans were also hit harder during the pandemic in terms of both loss of life and income. While 20% of all U.S. businesses closed when the pandemic struck, that figure was 40% for Black-owned firms. So some of these numbers are people that closed down and then restarted again. Some of that's just to be fair with the numbers. And I'm reading from the Atlanta Black Star. I'll post a link for you. You can check it out for yourself, and maybe you want to do your own research and dig into the numbers and really see if this is a source that you think is credible or not, which is completely fair. But I love it. I love hearing this. This is great news. Now, this is something I want to get up and hear in the morning. And to me, starting a Black-owned business is another form of activism. You believe that? That's how I look at it. Starting a Black-owned business is a form of activism. Do you agree with that? I think it is. Karens and Darrens were actively working against our efforts to take care of our very own families. All you trying to do is put some steak and potatoes on the table and some greens and some sweet potato and, of course, some macaroni and cheese and potato salad with no mustard in it. That's all you trying to do. These mofos got a problem because you live in your best life, because your great-grandfather living their best life in Tulsa. Mother. So I think as a response to that in 2021, starting a viable Black business for you and your family, providing services for the community, building wealth, building equity is a form of activism. It's a rage against the machine. Yeah, you're doing exactly what they didn't want you to do. Feel me? You're doing exactly what they didn't want you to do. That's a form of activism. That's how I look at it. What about you, though? You might look at it differently. 513-873-7134. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Bunky is nuts, man. He writes, "What's up, Nate and the Choppers? Good morning to you, Biden sexuals." Now, where you get that from, Bunky? Where you get that from, bro? I'm not even going there with you, man. You are hilarious. Good morning to you, brother. Dale writes, "Good morning, Nate and the Choppers." Let me back up here. I got to say good morning to everybody. Caramel writes, "Good morning, folks," and good morning, Nathan. She writes, "That's fantastic news." I think it's fantastic news as well. It's something you can take some strength out of. Now, I'll absorb that. Black folks out here doing some dumb-ish, I ain't got nothing to do with it. Black folks out here doing some Black excellence, I'm all about it. We look at what we doing. Right? When it's some dumb-ish, that's what they doing. When it's some good-ish, look at what we doing. I'm just saying, it don't have to make sense. That's just how I'm living my life. I refuse to buy into the media back hyped about us. I refuse to do it. I ain't giving into it. I refuse to. I just see too much black magic out here, and I loves it. I loves it. Letty writes, "What's happening, Nathan and the Chopper? It's going to be a beautiful day." Yes, it is. It was a beautiful evening yesterday. Oh my God, it was a gorgeous evening. I was out early this morning. It was beautiful. It's going to be a great day. Absolutely. Brandy writes, "Good morning." Good morning to you, Brandy. Jason writes, "Morning, Nate." Jared writes, "Good morning, hashtag team and I." Tabitha writes, "Good morning, all." Ronald writes, "Good morning, Choppers."
Get to the chopper!
Anthony writes, "Morning, Chop Shops." Jenny writes, "Good morning, Nathan and the Choppers." Jenny writes, "Congratulations to your son." Oh, absolutely. Starting new businesses? You already know it. You already know it. Darlene writes, hi and good day to all. Happy Thursday. It is a beautiful Thursday. Great to be alive. Tracy writes, hi. Nate, you see how the white farmers who got crazy money at Trump, you see how they cried about black farmers getting a pittance under Biden's? I did see about that. Now, systematically, the wealth was denied our grandfathers, great-grandfathers, great-grandmothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, right? Great-great-grandfathers, great-great-grand-uncles, your peoples from back in the day. So that's why we looking for the federal government to come through. And part of the reason why people are dragging, I think that people are resistant to it, is because they don't want us to live good, to put it lack of a better word. Like, yo, check it, man. I don't have this mentality. It's really hard for me to understand this because I really want to see people in general, and specifically my people, do well. I mean, nothing warms my heart better. I loves to see it. But some people don't. Some people want you to be a second-class citizen. They want to drive up in the Lambo while you driving up in a busted-ass Yugo. They like it. And some people like that. And that's why they destroyed Black Wall Streets all across the country. It didn't have shit to do with no damn rapes. It was straight up competition. And why is this black dude got a car just like mine? They just too happy. Huh? Their business is better than mine. So that's why I'll say it again. Starting a business is a form of activism. Starting a viable business with a viable product is a form of activism in 2021, in my opinion. In my opinion. You might agree or disagree. You tell me. Kathy writes, good morning, all. Kevin writes, good morning, family. I hope to have the cam up by 9. I'm going to be honest with you. Tiffany writes, good morning. Brian writes, started my handcrafted jewelry business in the pandemic. It's doing what it do now. That's great to hear, Brian. We got to catch back up, bro. You know, how can we form Voltron again? That is great to hear. And he's right about that. I love it. I love it. Kathy writes, entrepreneur life, Nate. Yes. Casey writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Hey, good to see you, Cassie. Casey, how is everything? How is everything? Tabitha writes, I have an antique and boutique thing going on coming soon. I love to hear it. I love hearing that, Tabitha. Kathy writes, expanded my current businesses and started a new business last year. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Again, that's consistent to what I hear around me, and I see people doing new things, starting new revenue streams. You know, trying to pandemic-proof their bank account. You know what I'm talking about? Because if we don't learn from COVID-19 and everything that happened, then we deserve whatever comes next. What did we learn? What did we learn as Black people during COVID-19? One thing that we learned for many of us is the necessity of having multiple income streams. Anything can happen when you're working for somebody else. Anything can happen when you're working for somebody else. Now, depending on your business, anything can happen when you're working for yourself. But, you know, the term pandemic proof, I think, is something that people should marinate on a little bit. Are you pandemic proof? What would you do if the pandemic had gone on for 3, 4, 5 years? What you gonna do? Deshona writes, good morning, Nathan and all. Good morning to you. Brown Legs writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Brandy writes, right. Tabitha writes, we are the essence of everything. We create all the vibes. We are resilient. We are very resilient. We are. Eloise writes, good morning. Glenn's in the house. He writes, morning, Nate and the Choppers. Watch put out for Judas Bunky and the Black Choppers. Hashtag Bionic William O'Neal. Oh, dear Lord. Letty writes, by the way, I don't blame you. Black folks must have a positive attitude to see life as a gift and to be prosperous. We have the ability to excel in what we put our minds to. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tabitha writes, I feel empowered. So do I. Absolutely. That's great news. People would love to run with those headlines about the gun violence, and they should be talked about in the sense that it leads to positive outcomes. Absolutely. But I think there's a whole other story to tell out there. There's multiple stories to tell about us in modern day times in terms of what's going on right now. And quite honestly, it's up to Black media to do it. Nobody else is going to focus on that other than us. It is what it is. I ain't belly aching. I'm just drawing a clear line in the sand. That's it. Just letting you know what it is. But I wanted to start the show, but with some good news. Okay, something that I thought was positive, that perhaps you could get something out of. That's it. Good morning to you. Here is my number: 513-873-7134. If you like to share your thoughts this morning. The NAACP on the 17th, that's in 2 days, they're doing the NAACP Day. It's over in Avondale. Okay, it's going to be over there into the Avondale Town Center. I think Avondale is on the come out. We know Avondale is an African-American community, a lot of history. I'm very fond of Avondale. I'll be honest with you. Me and the wifey have looked at investing in a home in the Avondale area. I would live in Avondale just to be a part of the upswing. And Avondale is in a unique position in Cincinnati. It really is, where it's nestled in between 71 and 75. So you got access to both of those interstate highways, which of course people use to travel all over the greater Cincinnati area and beyond. And I remember when the news was announced about the Avondale Town Center, I forget who it was, but a friend of the show hit me up, was like, Nate, they're having a press conference. So I went up to the press conference and I was able to get interviews with all the major players, including the mayor. A lot of people I know were there. And you're going back many years now. Of course, the new Avondale Town Center is up now. They got a couple of buildings there, and they got more and more businesses that are coming. And I think it brings something new to the Avondale area, quite honestly. And I've even been told about some new developments that are going to be happening as well across the street from it, which I think is going to give a whole new feel to the neighborhood. And, I think that'll be a great thing. I think I'll say this again. When Reading Road, from downtown to as far as Reading Road goes inside the Cincinnati city limits, when Reading Road and Avondale are electric again, with thriving new businesses and opportunities and shops and restaurants and bars and all kind of dope stuff, that will tell you that Cincinnati is moving in the right direction. Cincinnati will never reach its apex until Reading Road is electric again from downtown to as far as the Cincinnati city limits go. And Avondale is electric with thriving businesses and exciting new opportunities. When that happens, that Cincinnati is moving in the right direction. Well, we keep putting all these investments downtown. I was very happy to see it. So I was there for the groundbreaking. I remember I got it all on video and posted it many years ago. And so it was very interesting to see the transformation from that conversation when it was just like what it was before to what it is now. And so I just want to make sure I put that out there. Again, 513-873-7134. If you like to share your thoughts. I know people are still coming into the stream. Shout out to my people that's on Spreaker. Good morning to you, Ashley, Brenda. Jace, what's up, Jace? Good to see you, man. Deborah, Fox, and Ray, thank you for being here. Good to see you. It says one more day. That's right. One more day into the weekend. Well, actually, I take that back, Jace. Today is the first day of the weekend. Today is the first day of the weekend. Thursday is the new Friday. You know that? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Thursday's a new Friday. The party starts today. It starts today. But again, I want to make sure I told you about, the NAACP Day that's going to be on the 17th. And they'll have a lot of events, and you should stop by, say hello. They're always working on petitions and educating people about what's happening from a policy side, from the state side. So, stop in and say what's up to Joe, who's the new president, and TNT, first president as well. And check in and see what's going on. Just plug in. Just tap in. Again, good morning to you. How was the last 24 hours? Hope they were well. That's all I can say. I hope you're living good. Hope you and your people are living good. Like to hear it. Governor Mike DeWine signed a bill prohibiting Ohio schools from requiring mandatory vaccines. He signed a bill that includes an amendment that prohibits the public schools in Ohio and the universities in Ohio from requiring vaccines that have not received full approval from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Okay. So it prohibits individuals who don't receive emergency use vaccines from being denied the chance to participate in school activities such as sports. The measure was added to House Bill 244, which aimed to minimize disruptions for children of military families moving into or out of districts as a result of parents' deployments. Okay, these Republicans are serious about this, man. They want to have the right to spread as much as they want. I'm just saying. That's what it appears to me. Okay, what's up? Life of a bartender. I'm here for that. What's up? Good morning to you. Good. Is this real? U.S. sprinter banned for using weed offered $250,000 to represent a CBD company. We're talking about Sha'Carri Richardson, who tested positive for THC during a drug test last month. Very, very sad. But what I will say is that the moral of the story is that don't do drugs if you're about to go to the Olympics. That's what the moral of the story is. I don't want to hear all this belly aching about how they do us so different. They didn't do that to Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps got a whole different scenario. The moral of the story is that if you want to be in Olympics and the Olympic Committee or whoever's testing, the U.S. Olympic team says, here's a list of all the things that if we find in your system, you might be banned, then it's your job to make sure that you don't put those things in your system, period. Period, point blank. God, follow the rules. It's real simple. And you can get gold. So this CBD company has now offered to pay Sha'Carri Richardson $250,000 to become the company's ambassador. I mean, take it, sis. Take it. Why not? Get that money. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no problem with it. What you think about that? Should she take the money from the CBD company? Yeah, buddy. Why not? I can't think of anything right now. Who else is offering you $250,000? You know what I'm saying? Who else is coming through with that kind of money? Nobody. So take the bread, sis, and start you a black-owned business, right? Take it. She looks a little different without the makeup on, don't she? Still beautiful. Still excellent. Take the money. Get that money. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. Got no problems with it. Do what you got to do. Good morning to you. Now, earlier I was reading a story to you from the Atlanta Black Star. I go there and check them out from time to time. You should too. They do great work. Here's another story from Atlanta Black Star that you may or may not have seen. It was a study that examined the way police officers interact with citizens. In particular, it was a study that was analyzing the differences in the way that police officers would approach Black people, especially Black men, than their white counterparts. This new study is from the American Psychological Association. Okay, the American Psychological Association. And they conducted a study about the way that police officers interacted with black people when they did it, when they stopped them during, traffic stops. And they were comparing that to the way that police officers interacted with non-black people. What do you think they found? What do you think they found? Did they find any differences in your opinion? What do you think? Well, the people over at the American Psychological Association examined the role that an officer's tone of voice plays in building trust, or conversely, fueling mistrust. And just think about it. I mean, tone of voice means a lot, right? It means a whole lot. Like, tone of voice can mean everything. Like, you could say the same thing, but with a different tone of voice, maybe emphasizing different words, and it can be conveyed or picked up completely differently. Researchers from the University of Michigan, Northwestern University, and Stanford University pulled together hundreds of traffic stop audio clips from body-worn cameras. They then had sample groups of black and white men and women. Good morning, son. They can't see you because my camera's down. You want to say good morning?
Good morning.
How are you? How'd you sleep?
Good.
Let me look at you. You look like my son. That's what you look like. Come here. Let me brush your hair real quick. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. Stop all that. Put your head up. Stop all that, man. Head up, head up, head up, head up, head up, head up. Yeah, let me brush the front so you're looking fresh. Head up, little boy. Head up. Why are you doing all this? You're not on camera. They can hear us, but they can't see you. Why are you doing all that? There you go. I got you, man. We got to cut this soon. Let me go look at you. You want to cut it today?
No.
When you get home?
No.
You sure?
No.
Well, we're going to cut it this week then. I love you. Give me some love.
This week is water week.
It's water week? Look, you look great. Come here. I love
Today
you.
I'm going to the pool trip.
Okay. Be smart at the pool.
Yes, I always be smart. Last time I was super smart.
Last time you were super smart. That's good to hear. Okay.
The first time I went to the pool, like, #1, get it.
Oh boy. He is funny.
Dad, I'll watch
You watching me? You can watch Daddy.
you. Dad.
I see you. I see you. It's going to be you one day, son. You got it. So let me back this up. We're talking about a story from the Atlanta Black Star. And researchers from the University of Michigan, Northwest University, and Stanford University, they did something interesting. Tell me what you think about this. They pulled together hundreds of traffic stop audio clips from officer body-worn cameras. They then had sample groups of black and white men and women composed of college students and local drivers to rate any racial disparities that they detected. So they would take just the audio, not the video, and they would play it for people, black, white, men and women, and then get their opinion about whether they were picking up anything in the tone. Okay. And what they found is that there was a racial disparity. What you need, bud? No, son, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. What they found is that, in fact, there is a racial disparity. There is a racial disparity in the tone of the voice of the officers when they were dealing with black people, and particularly black men, which just underscores what we've already known for a long time, is that black men continue to be the boogeyman. Like in the city of Cincinnati, they want black people to be the boogeyman so bad. But black people didn't create the inequities in this city that black people have to deal with. We love to focus on black folks and what they doing. We love to do that. Anyway. In an example of such racial disparity was shown back in 2016 when a white Georgia officer pulled over a white female in Cobb County. In an attempt to calm the woman's concerns for her well-being, Lieutenant George Abbott's body camera revealed that he told her, "But you're not black. Remember, we only kill black people." Yeah, we only kill black people, right? Now, even if that was a joke, the fact that this white officer would say that to a white woman who's nervous about being pulled over in an attempt to make her feel better says a lot about that officer's mentality. You're going to hurt yourself. Okay, I see. You almost bust your head wide open. You're going to hurt yourself, man. No, yeah, but you're doing a little bit too much. That's what happened. He almost bust his chin wide open. But when you're a kid, you almost face death 15 times a day, so... And great bodily injury. I mean, I did. Climbing trees and hanging upside down on branches. Yeah, think about that. Think about that. And I'll be honest with you. I talk about this all the time. I had an interaction. I've been pulled over maybe 2 or 3 times in my lifetime and been given a ticket, maybe twice. One of them was because I had expired tags. They expired. It was like 1 day expired. Like literally, y'all. Like 1 or 2 days expired. And the officer was a little short white officer. He had an attitude from the jump. Like he walked to the door with an attitude. He walked to the door challenging me as to whether I had car insurance. Before he even said anything to me, before he ran my number, he was saying stuff to me like, "I bet you don't have insurance, do you?" I'm looking at this man like, who the hell are you talking to? Like, this is the way that he approached the car. I had medium booty. I had just picked her up from school. My daughter went to Fairview. I had just picked up from Fairview, and he pulled us over on Clifton Avenue. Across the street is like a little Shell gas station. It's like almost like across the street from the Skyway, the Skyline. Like right there on the corner of the fire station. He pulled me over. So I hadn't gone that far from her school. And he approached the car on 8. And we didn't get into it because I don't argue with police. You know, if you want to arrest me, I keep saying this and I mean this, then go ahead and arrest me. I'm not arguing with you. I'm not tussling with you. I don't have to say anything to you. Just do your job. And if I got a case, believe me, I'm gonna take it to the all the way to the bank if I have to police reforms and or the bank. You can believe that. Look at you. I like that. I did. He pulled the car over this way before you was born. My son's asking me. He heard the story. Kendall was in the car. Watch, you're stepping on my sandals. I didn't get arrested. I'll tell you later, son. Don't step on daddy's sandals. No, I didn't hurt anybody. My license was expired. The plates were expired. You remember when we got pulled over? You remember that? Yeah. You remember the police officer was tripping? I'm telling the story right now. Yeah, medium boo was here. He was. You look, y'all. Yeah. I don't have a record. I don't have no warrants. I don't play those games. I'm super straight Joe citizen. Super. Right? Don't do no crimes around me. Don't put me in jeopardy because that's gonna be your ass. I say that to any and all people, family members, friends. Don't do that around me. Don't put me in that kind of compromised situation because if it's you and me, it's gonna be you every time. Just don't do it. And this dude pulled me over approached the car on Cincinnati police officer on 8, trying to goat me into an argument about whether I have car insurance. I wouldn't even entertain the dude. I'm like, man, just run the plates. Here's my license. And he just had an attitude. I don't know why. Was it because I was a black male? Yeah, I guess so. At the time, we had a Jeep Wrangler. It wasn't tricked out. We didn't have those Jeep Wranglers from that year had tinted windows in the back and the side of it, the front windows, and then of course the front window were regular, but it had tinted windows, but it wasn't all tricked out. I wasn't playing loud music. We didn't have F the police in the back, nothing. My plates were expired less than a week. I think it was like 3 or 4 days now that I think about it. And I just didn't realize it. We had the money for it. I just didn't realize it. He used that as an excuse to pull me over and try to goad me into an argument. But he didn't know who he was pulling over. I'm always prepared to go to jail because I'm going to get bailed out. I already know it. And if I got a case, I'm going to see you in court and I'm going to get that money. I ain't worried about it. I don't mind being inconvenienced for a day or two, a week. If that means that when I get out, I'm coming for that neck, legally speaking. I have no problem with that. Let's do it. And I'm not arguing with police about nothing. You ain't gonna never see me arguing with police because I already know how the game goes. If they want to take you downtown, you're going downtown. So why argue about it? Let's go. Let's go. So I hit him with the same attitude. I'm like, I just shut it, put water on it. Yeah, okay, whatever, dude. Run the plates. He got frustrated, went back to his car. He was back there for a long ass time. You know what happened when he came back? I'm sorry, sir. He asked me to get out the car. I got out the car. Next thing I know, another Cincinnati police car showed up. I'm like, what in the hell is you calling backup for an expired license with a citizen who has no record, nothing in your system? No warrants, no nothing, but you calling backup. The hell? Because I was a black 6'4" man. That's what it was. So some of these little fellas, they want to show how tough they are, and all this kind of stuff. I'm going to show that I can deal with any situation, even with a tall black male. It's ridiculous. I've been pulled. I got stopped once. Same deal. I forgot. It's my bad. The way I looked at that was make sure you always get your shit ready, Nate. That's how I took it. And that's how I take most things. When something happens in life, I usually look at myself first. I usually look at myself and I use it to grow. So when I read about this study, if you just tune it in, we're talking about a study that was done that analyzed the tone of the voice of officers when they're dealing with black people as opposed to white people. And what they found is that there's a pattern when officers are dealing with black people, in particular black men, of the tone being different. Less respect, more accusatory, less warm, more confrontational, right? Over the smallest thing. Like I said, if I was a police officer, I ain't got time for this little ish. I don't have time for it. If I'm gonna give you all that kind of like those kind of vibes, you must be on some dumb ish for real. And we got credible suspicion or evidence or something like that. I'm gonna reserve all of that for the people that need it. You got tinted windows or your license plate's not in front. I don't have time for that. I didn't go to the police force to be chasing down people that got expired tags. Now, if that's the duty I'm on, that's the duty I'm on. But that ain't sexy police officer work. That ain't sexy. I want to do the sexy shit. Essentially, there's also something called the Stanford Open Policing Project that further examines the breakdown of these encounters between law enforcement and citizens, primarily in traffic stops. And what they found is what we already know, is that race continues to be an underlying factor in traffic stops. We already know this, right? I ain't telling you something you don't already know. I still think it's interesting, what they found. And I love how these researchers, man, they try to be like middle of the road, right? They try not to take one side or the other, right? Officers' tone. A matter of fact, let me share it with you. I mean, this is straight from the American Psychological Association's website. You might find it interesting or you might not, whatever. But, you know, if we're going to talk about it, I'll share a link with you. You can check it out for yourself. I know a lot of smart people like to do their own research. I know I do. So you can do your own research. Tell me if you think it's credible or not. And essentially what they found is that police speak to black male drivers with less respect, less warmth, they're more accusatory, and it helps to perpetuate a cycle of mistrust. Tell me that shit ain't real. Tell me that ain't right. Tell me you ain't had the same interaction. Yeah. So when your white friends or your Protect the Blue friends, and again, I don't know anybody that don't support police officers. That's number one. All the black people I know support police, good police. I don't know anybody that's out here on some F good police. Nobody. Now, bad police, we need to root you out. We need to extract you like a bad tooth to keep us healthy. But good police, hey, we can't do enough for you. Okay, Tammy, great. I would love to have that conversation. Love to have that conversation. That's interesting. So researchers gathered short audio excerpts from police body-worn camera footage and found that when officers spoke to black men at traffic stops, their tone conveyed less respect than when they spoke with white men. Now, I think that not only is this good for their community, but I think that this information should be shared with police officers. Because I think there's a lot of police officers, even black officers, that have implicit bias. We all have implicit bias. And they're just not aware of it. I think that's true. I would like to see, it would be if I wish that it was possible, because I do this. I see connections between the relationship between the black community and law enforcement and the relationship between the black community and public schools. I see a lot of crossover there. And I don't think this is possible because, school administrators don't wear body-worn cameras, but they should. And I would love to see if it was possible to get research on how, I'm talking about the Cincinnati Public Schools in particular. I would love to see research done on the interactions and how primarily white administrators interact with black and or white parents when they have issues with their kids. I would love to see that. I think it would blow you away. I think you'd be blown away by what you find. I think you find similar racial disparities as well in the way that school administrators deal with white families as opposed to black families. And it would make sense in terms of the treatment that we see with black students with Cincinnati Public Schools. I'm going to keep talking about this because it needs to be talked about. But again, they don't wear body-worn cameras. They don't have audio recording devices and things like that where you can get that data and then start to go through it. Quite interesting. And see, this is the reason why I'll say it again, and I'll maintain this. Black people have every right. They've been given every justification. They have every reason to feel uneasy when they dealing with law enforcement because of some of the stuff that's coming out right here, because of your experiences. That's why I put the onus on law enforcement. Like, if you really want to have a good community relationship, y'all gonna have to do 99%. Y'all gonna have to do all the heavy lifting. Because it's on you. Police officers are the human face of the law. True or false? You are the human face of the law. I just had a conversation the other day with a black male police officer, many years. Sound like a great brother, man. Sound like a good brother. And like I said, I 100% support our police. 100%. As long as they're doing the right thing. I don't think they're any better, but I definitely don't think they're any worse. And I think that being a law enforcement, a member of law enforcement, is a very admirable position. Very admirable. There's a lot of worse ways to make your money in this world than to be a member of law enforcement. I just want to see good people go into that kind of profession, good melanated people especially, and don't punk out. When you see something going down, don't punk out. Speak up. Do the right thing. That's it. That's all you can ever ask for. That's all I've ever asked for. Nothing more than that. I think that's very, very interesting. So I posted a link. You can check it out for yourself. 513-873-7134. Police want us to be cooperative, but approach and talk to us with an attitude. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't ask grown people to give you respect and you not giving them no respect. Who operates like that? You gonna let somebody come at you crazy, but you gonna come at them all sweet and nice? Probably not. And it don't matter what the circumstances is. You can be talking with the judge. The judge start tripping, then 9 times out of 10, you're gonna start tripping right with him. You're gonna match that energy. That's just how most people are. Most people gonna match that energy. It's just what it is. But again, I think that there's a couple reasons behind that. I think one is you got some good old-fashioned, racist who have racist attitude toward black people for whatever reason. And I think the other reason is implicit bias. I think you have officers who are not even aware of it. I ain't trying to let nobody off the hook, but I'm just trying to be fair here. I think that that's a part of this story as well. And I'm talking about law enforcement should seize upon this data, and they should bring it up and talk about it with the rank and file at the police academy. That shit matters. If they don't already, they might already, but it needs to be reinforced. You approach the car on some crazy shit, then 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get some crazy shit right back. Then 9 times out of 10, I remember that day the officer even said something about Media Buddha. Like, I think he said something like, "You're lucky that she's got a seatbelt on." That's what he said to me. "You're lucky she got a seatbelt on." And I thought to myself, and I can't remember what I said to him, but afterward I thought, no, I'm not lucky. I love my daughter. I don't strap my daughter up because it's against the law. I strap my kids up in seatbelts because I love them, and I know that we can get into an accident. And this white male police officer talking about "you're lucky that she's got a seatbelt on." As if I would ever drive my daughter around without a seatbelt on. She was in a car seat that time. Well, no, she was about 8 or 9. She wasn't in a car seat. She might have been in a booster. You damn right she got her seatbelt on, and so do I. You know why? Because we love ourselves. Because Black Lives Matter. Oh, you lucky. So he just felt like I guess he saw me, saw the vehicle, and thought, I'm gonna play games today. Yeah, I'm gonna cut my teeth today. I'm gonna use that. Yeah, I'm gonna show everybody. I'm gonna show myself how tough I am. And ended up apologizing and driving away. Idiot. But see, I'm too strong for his nonsense. I was too strong for his discrimination. He couldn't handle that. I dealt with him the way I wanted to deal with him. Because again, I'm never afraid. And Black people, you should be prepared today to preserve your dignity. And that means you might have to go down to the JC and spend the next couple of days before you get processed out. I'm willing to do it. I'll just fast. I ain't eating that nasty ass bologna sandwich. I ain't eating it. I'm just gonna fast while I'm down there. Period. But I'm not getting on my knees and kissing nobody's ass. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. It ain't happening. 513-873-7134 if you'd like to share your thoughts. Adele writes, he didn't see you as human, perhaps. Perhaps. Tabitha writes, that's the data we need on paper, yes. Tiffany writes, expired tags is an excuse to get pulled over. You're exactly right, Tiffany. We all know that. You're exactly right. I don't doubt it. I don't have any problem with that. But expired tags is not an excuse to approach a citizen and try to provoke them into a confrontation. Like, expired tags is not an excuse for you to try to challenge somebody. I mean, literally, y'all, again, I'm not talking this up. This man went back. He tried to go back and forth with me. I bet you don't. I bet if I go back here, this is what he said to me. I bet if I go back here and run your name, you don't have no insurance. I was like, what? He was like, I bet you don't. This is what the man said to me. Medium boot in the back seat, talking super greasy. So yeah, it's an excuse to pull me over. But you know what? When you pull somebody over, Tiffany, all you got to do is say, let me get your license and registration and proof of insurance. That's all you got to say. Here you go, officer. Boom. Or, I don't got it on me, officer. I left my shit at home. In which case, they might cite you. You know what you do? You go down there and you bring your proof of insurance to the judge. The judge say, okay, you got it. Next time, keep it on you. And you leave. That's it. They don't try to goad you and provoke you. He would have liked nothing better if I tried to challenge him physically. He probably wanted to shoot me. I step out the vehicle, full-fledged, melanated, 6'4", all of that goodness. He like 5'4". I mean, super short dude. I knew what it was right then. I'm like, oh my God, here we go again with this short man shit. And then tell me this, Tiffany, you pull me over for expired tags. I'm like, damn, officer, you right, my bad. What's the ticket? Then you want to grill me on whether I have insurance. Like, you want to have a verbal confrontation about whether I have insurance. That's unnecessary. And then on top of all of that, you ask me to step out the vehicle. I step out the vehicle. You calling for backup. Now, why are you calling for backup for expired tags? Because he got scared. Tabitha Rice Jr. sounds like a lawyer. You know what? That boy did be negotiating. The other day, he was negotiating and telling me why he deserved 2 popsicles. We got a brand of popsicles that don't have any sugar in them. It's all 100% natural flavorings. I mean, it is a popsicle, so, you know, it is what it is, but there's no sugar in it whatsoever. They love them. Our kids love them. We let them smash because kids love ice cream and all kind of shit like that all times of the year, but especially in the summertime, right? They love that shit. He negotiating me like, but dad, here's why I think I should get 2 popsicles. He be having whole presentations. Joy J writes, I so agree with you, Nate. Good morning, Joy. Politically Petty Podcast writes, I saw that study, Nate. The double standard is maddening. That's right. Jay Rose writes, I read that the company said that the Facebook report was false and they did not offer Richardson an opportunity to be the ambassador. Is that right? Let me double check here. I went to several sources. It appears to be up and up, but let me double check since you said that. The latest source was as recent as yesterday, including quotes from the owner of the company. So let me double check again. I got it from at least 2 credible sources, including one yesterday. But let me double check on that, J Rose. Bunky writes, Sha'Carri is a fast hood rat who needs to cut off her circle ASAP. A fast hood rat? Now, why you call that woman a hood rat? You wrong for that. You wrong for that. Let me see. Sean writes, CBD does not contain THC. You're correct. If I said anything other than that, it was my error. Tiffany writes, Mike, you better soon. You'll see more of them than black people. Casey writes, I'm taking it one day at a time. I spent a month down home in Arkansas after losing my father. We all grieve differently, and I've been trying to adjust to this emptiness in my life. Oh, my God, Casey. Damn, I know that pain. I know that pain. Trust me. And condolences to you. And you're right. Don't let nobody tell you how to grieve. You might grieve in ways that's just you. And, don't let nobody tell you to do anything differently. Mike writes, I have lived in Avondale my whole life. I won't ever get used to see Caucasians walking around the neighborhood. Well, you're going to see more of it because Avondale is prime real estate. Like I said, me and the wifey was looking for, and still are looking for property potentially in Avondale. I wouldn't mind living in Avondale. There's parts of Avondale that are absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I love the idea of investing in a primarily black-owned business in black neighborhood. And again, Avondale's on the come up. Avondale is on the come up. Watch. Keep watching. 5-6 years, you're going to be like, what? You're going to be going to Avondale. You're going to be hanging out in Avondale. They're going to have some bars there. They got Nola's. I'm sorry, Zola's is coming to Avondale. Nola, what am I thinking of? They got Zola's coming to Avondale. Brand new restaurant, black-owned restaurant over there. They'll be opening up soon. I'm sure they're going to be doing a lot of traffic, a lot of business. And you're going to see other spots as well because it's prime real estate. Anything on Reading Road is prime to me. I don't care what part of Reading Road is on. We need that streetcar to go all the way up and down Reading Road. We need to rethink the subway system in Cincinnati. We need to have multiple mass transit opportunities. That's going to attract the big investors like Amazon, HQ, and others. That's what's going to make us grow. And that's what's going to open up Cincinnati. Phelps actually received tougher penalties. Did he? Let me see. Kathy writes, I participated in an implicit bias 10-week forum with Dr. Chantel Thomas. Shout out to Dr. Chantel. And 8 other participants for the Cincinnati Chamber last winter. It was eye-opening for white participants. See, that's the thing about it. Black people have been miseducated, but we rarely talk about the miseducation of white people. White people have been severely miseducated in this country. And it leads to the Karen and Darrenisms. Ignorance is not bliss, and there is a penalty for it. Brian writes, if police aren't punished for their actions, which they aren't, it is glaring evidence that the problem is systematic. State-executed racism and murder with no consequences is not an individual cop question, he writes. Daryl writes, most states have your insurance information now through DMV, which police can look up. Somebody writes, short man Dan Hill syndrome. Danita writes, we are exposing Karens and Darrens. Let's expose parents and students acting a fool so we can get an appreciation for school employees. Cameras with audio in the lunchroom would be wonderful. You said let's expose parents and students acting a fool. Trying to think how I feel about this. I mean, a part of me feels like no. I'm more concerned with the troubling disparities that I hear about CPS, like the fact that black kids are 5 times more likely to get severe discipline than white students in CPS. The fact that CPS is still struggling to interact and interface and give parents the information that they need. I mean, think about this, Danita. How many months has it been? How many weeks has it been since we heard about the case of Gabriel Taye? And has there been any direct communication about it from CPS to CPS parents since then? I'm not on a limb when I say nope. I mean, this whole situation went down, and now we know that CPS, Cincinnati Public Schools, is settling with the family of Gabriel Taye. And there's been no communication about what they're going to do, what strides they're going to take to have a better line of communication with parents than they did before that. So, do we need to expose how parents and students are acting a fool to appreciate school employees? No. I appreciate school employees. I saw it firsthand. Cameras with audio in the lunchroom would be wonderful. I mean, I used to love being in the lunchroom. I'll be honest with you. When I worked at a Cincinnati public school, one of my favorite things to do was lunchroom duty. I loved it. I primarily loved it with the younger kids, but I loved it even with the high schoolers because I am extremely observant. I cannot tell you how observant and how things can catch my eye, and I can read situations very, 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 very well. Okay. And I used to love to just stand back and just watch everything. And for me, I would walk around and just inject myself into the tables and just make sure I said hello and just talk to all my after school and before school kids. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Nathan I was just, if you was in my program, then you was in my program, period, no matter where you were. You know what I'm saying? You could always get in contact with me and we had that connection. So that was my style. But I used to love to just sit back and just watch it. You know, a lunchroom at a public school is a very interesting thing to watch. Very interesting thing to watch if you know what you're looking at. You can tell a lot just by watching, just by simply observing. I used to love it. I don't know if I really want audio of that because people talk, it's lunchtime. You're going to hit some of the dumbest ish ever and then some interesting conversations as well. Dale writes, he dehumanized you. Happened to me as well in Cincinnati. Tried to, I guess, but like I said, he was dealing with somebody that I'm not afraid today. Like I got some errands to run today. I got a lot of shit going on. If today I got to go get processed, then so what? And when that's your attitude, truly, then all this, I don't really care about being pulled over. Because number one, I'm super, super honest Cincinnatian. You know what I'm saying? I obey the laws across the board. That's just me. I don't need that kind of nonsense. Like when I want smoke, it's smoke that I choose to start. I don't want some smoke over some dumb shit. A lot of people get pulled over. They want to plead with the police because they don't want to be inconvenienced. I don't mind being inconvenienced. I could be on my way to a New Edition concert of a lifetime. And if I got to go get pulled over and process and miss the concert in order to preserve my dignity and stand up for my rights, then I'll do that. I'll do it quick too. It ain't even no question. But I hear people begging and pleading and no, sir, yes, sir. No, I'm not doing none of that shit. I'm not doing none of it. I would feel less than a man if I did that. And I need to feel like a man at all times. I'm sure you feel the same way. The men out here feel the same way. Let me see. Danita writes, cameras in the main office, administrator's office, and lunchroom. You will see everyone's interaction. What would be wrong with that? The cameras aren't just for employees. Let's see parents and students. I mean, I'm here for the conversation. I think that we need to have a way, a process to document the interactions that administrators have with parents and with students. And it has to be more than just the paperwork that the administrator fills out. Because you have some untrustworthy administrators. They can't be trusted. They're self-serving. They'll lie. I don't know if that's cameras. I don't know what it is, but I'm just saying we need a better process and a better handle that process. Let me see. Fame writes, Danita, please stop. I'm becoming offended at your incessant bashing of the public of which your salary is paid. You get a handsome state retirement for dealing with that. You sound like a cop. Huh. All right. Jace writes, you should have reported that cop. You know what, Jace, in hindsight, and that's my bad, you're right about it. You're absolutely right about that. 100%. Sharp writes, good morning. What? Good morning, Nana Choppers. Didn't see the notification. Didn't see the notification, huh? See, Sister V writes, morning, Choppers. Good morning to you, Sister V. Ray writes, I would like to know if he's still on the force. What's his rank? How many citizens complaint does he have? WF Whole Foods has the best popsicles. That's where we got them. They've got a particular brand over at Whole Foods that has no sugar in it. It's 100% real fruit juice. All of the ingredients check out. That's what we give our kids. They love them. They still have that natural fruit flavor, so they're sweet enough, but they don't have all the bad stuff in it. You know, all the artificial colorings and flavorings and all that kind of shit. You don't need all that shit. So we let them smash on them. He want 2 popsicles, go right ahead. There's no sugar in it, or there's no added sugar in it. It's just natural fruit sugar. Go right ahead. Smash on it, son. Yeah, smash on it. What the hell? Angela writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Y'all is wrong. I'm not even touching that, Bunky. I'm not even touching your comment. Let me circle back around because it's 8:57. Let me check out what my cam is doing here. Yeah, I think we good. I'm going to put that cam on about a little bit after 9. I think we good. Let me circle back around to give you a heads up on what we've been talking about. So we kicked off the show talking about some good Black news. I regard this as positive. There were 2 studies that were done. They both show the same thing, that Black-owned businesses surged during the pandemic. There were more Black-owned businesses that were started during the pandemic than in the last 25 years. Now, some of these businesses were businesses that closed and reopened. That's a part of the story. I want to be 100 with you. But think about that. Black communities saw a surge in entrepreneurship during the pandemic. This is according to data by the Kauffman Foundation and a study by the National Bureau of Economic Research. The latter found that Black Americans were more likely to become entrepreneurs during the pandemic, and that new businesses were disproportionately located in Black neighborhoods. You know what that is? You want to know what that is? That's some of that Black Wall Street that's still in us. Why isn't this the headline? Why isn't this headline across the nation? The resiliency of Black Americans. I love it. I think we can build upon this. You know, Black Wall Street is right around the corner. Black people were hit harder by the pandemic. We know that. But then Black entrepreneurs started to stand up during the pandemic. And I think we need to get we need to be shouting this from the rooftops. It says great things about us. There's so much negativity out there about us, about who we are, what we stand for, what we doing, where we are, that I want to take a moment to just give us props. I think this says great things about the health of the Black community. And, you know, this gives me a lot of confidence that if and when we get reparations, like I said, you know, some people go out there and buy $40,000 gold chains and Lambos and all kind of dumb shit. You know, it's their money, but frivolous stuff that's going to depreciate. But I think the vast majority, if we got $500,000 reparation checks, I think the vast majority of the recipients would build wealth, new businesses, new ventures, landowners, homeowners. And that's the reason why they're resisting it. Because they already know what we would do with it. We go out there and run. We're going to be running up. Listen, it'll be beautiful. I think so. Simultaneously hit the hardest, but the most growth of businesses was in the Black community. That's great things. And I just hope that all of that energy that we saw, you know, during the pandemic for entrepreneurs, in particular Black entrepreneurs, I hope we keep that same energy over the next few years because we're going to need it. I also believe that in 2021, starting a Black-owned business is a form of activism. What do you think? Starting your own business and doing your own thing for you and your family, creating new revenue streams is a form of activism. Even if you don't ever march, even if you don't sign no petitions, even if you don't vote. Starting your own business is a form of activism. Period. It might not be in you to get out there and march. It may not be in you to sign a petition. It may not be in you to vote. It may not be in you to get behind political candidates. But you probably got some black magic inside of you, some creativity. You probably got a great idea. Make it happen, Cap. Make it happen. Pick up where your forefathers left off, where they destroyed their businesses. Pick up right there. Oh, they destroyed Black Wall Streets across the country? Then let's rebuild it. You think the Karens and Darrens are mad right now? Oh my God. They'll be really mad. And I love to make the Karens and Darrens mad. I love it. Let's make them real mad. Who's moving in? That new movie coming out called Karen. She got all of her feelings because a black couple moved in her cul-de-sac. Let's make them all uncomfortable. Move in right next door to you, and my house just as big as yours, and my car is just as nice as yours. And guess what? Me and my wife, me and my husband happy. And my kids go to the same schools as yours did. And guess what? They're getting better grades, smashing you on the athletic fields. And now what? And we going to the same colleges. And guess what? We can pay for it. Now what? Now what? Sounds like a new segment, the good black news of the day. You know what? Maybe so. Maybe so. I'm not sure. But what do you think? 513-873-7134 if you want to share your thoughts this morning. That's a little bit of what we kicked off the show talking about. I want to make sure that you stay up to speed on everything we're discussing this morning, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick pause, maybe like 2.5, maybe 3 minutes at the very most, play a little jingle, get a chance to relax, come back. I'll have the cam up for you, and we can continue the conversation, all right? It's the Nathan Ivey Show. I'm live, I'm local, and I'm vocal. Don't go anywhere, everybody. We'll be right back.
Turn up the headphones a little bit. Hey. ISO. Let's get it. Whoa. Clear out the room, I'm coming through. They wanna see what I'm about. Yeah, I got skills, do it for the thrill. I'm on a paper route. Extra, read about it. I'm today's trending topic. I put commas over bullshit. Yeah, I put that on mamas. Hey, they tryna block all my blessings. They thought I lost for stepping. I bet on me and my team. ISO is what I'm rapping. Put on for the whole city. Yeah, I got them rocking with me. I bet on me and my team. ISO is what I'm rapping. Sending emojis. I'm blowing a pack of that OG. Don't be acting like you know me. And if you did, that's the old me. Winter time, rock a cold fleece. Pocket fat, that's obese. Only talking money if it's increased. She give me brain, girl, no teeth. I touch down, bust down. She busted open for a real day. Stay Tommied up, trying to build it up, trying to count it up, hill figures. Don't be chilling with no lil, no. And if I do, I be real with them. Chase a dream, that's the meal ticket. ISO gang, yeah, they still with us. I put it in motion, they got me steady. Thoughts on my mind, it's weighing heavy. Watch how I shine, tell them I'm ready. I'm hitting my stride, let's get to the Fetty. I was just sitting back watching them fold. Racks on me now, yeah, it's looking slow. I hold it down and I got my own. Keeping it grown, we back to the bone. Yeah, flying flashy, ayy, we too fancy, ayy, can't walk past me, ayy, right up your alley, wait, I gotta play it safe, watch me isolate, watch me isolate, watch me isolate, whoa, clear out the room, I'm coming through, they wanna see what I'm about, yeah, I got skills, do it for the thrill, I'm on a paper route, extra, read about it, I'm today's trending topic, I put commas over bullshit, yeah, I put that on mamas, they tryna block all my blessings, they thought I lost for stepping, I bet on me and my team, ISO is what I'm rapping, put on for the whole city, yeah, I got them rocking with me, I bet on me and my team, ISO is what I'm rapping.
All right, quick break. Back to rock. Nate Ivey with you. Good morning. And we got the cam up. I turned on here in just a second. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. 513-873-7134 is my number, and it is a tremendous day. Oh, here we back. We back. It's a tremendous day. Good morning to you. I know I'm looking scruffy. I'll probably I'll probably take care of it sometime today. Pardon me on that. I'm still here. Pardon me on that. Good morning to you. Welcome back. Got the I usually block that window. It's a window to my right here. You can see the light coming in. I may have to do that actually. It just kind of washes me out on this side. But I'll worry about that. Don't you worry about that. Good morning to you. Okay. All right. Appreciate the love. Appreciate it. Good morning to you. Let me jump into the chop shop and see what's going on. Breweries in Avondale just got the notification. Oh, you just got the notification from Spreaker? What in the hell is going on? I don't understand that. I don't get it. I don't understand it. You tell me. What in the hell? What in the hell? Oh, man. Hamilton County Commissioners and community partners are pronouncing a new small business navigation program to provide one-on-one support to small businesses as they recover from the pandemic. Love to hear that. Thank Angela for posting that. Appreciate it. Keeping us up to date on what's going on. Appreciate it. I don't even want to touch that story right there. I'm not touching the story with Cardi B and she bought her daughter a $150,000 necklace. That's her money. She can spend any way she wants to. I ain't touching it. Not one bit. Good morning. And good morning. Hope you're doing well. Oh, man. I love it. Well, Byron Allen better watch his back. It's been reported that he now owns 24 stations in 20 markets. Oh, boy. The same people that went after Bill Cosby and framed him for rape charges, they're going to go after Byron Allen because he owns too much. Isn't that the narrative that the Jewish mafia went after Bill Cosby because he wanted to try to buy NBC back in the 80s? So they waited 20 years and they waited for Cosby to rape women before I'm not even sure how this conspiracy is supposed to go. All I'm saying is that if you believe in that conspiracy, then Byron Allen better watch his damn back because they'll be coming for him soon. Watch his back. Watch your back, Byron. It's been reported that at least 7 children are in intensive care at a hospital in Mississippi. They're battling the Delta variant of the COVID-19. 2 of the children allegedly on life support. I'd like to get your thoughts. Do you believe these stories about the Delta variant? Do you believe this, or do you think that these are made up stories to try to get you to take the vaccine? Because in the vaccine, there's something that is going to kill you, harm you, control you in some way. I'd like to know what you think. I'd like to know what you think about that. I keep hearing about this Delta variant, but I don't hear a lot of black people talking about it. So I'm trying to figure out, where are the black folks? How do you feel about it? Angela writes, I went back to work. I'm off today. I was looking for your podcast. You're not on Facebook anymore? Now, Facebook's been tripping just with my show. Who knows what it is, but the show goes on. Says, go get your brush. You can't get in the club. Oh, can't get into the club. That's okay. Beth writes, I can see you now. Yay. Okay, let me touch it up a little bit. Glenn says I need to touch it up. Give me a second. All right, give me a chance to get my tea. Appreciate it. Had to touch up the cut. Had to touch it up. How looking better? Good. And they got the tea. Cool. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate you, bro. Said Brandy writes, made up stories in my opinion. You see all the other manipulative bribes they've been doing and trying. So, I thought about this. And I'm like, if the government wanted to put something in your body, couldn't they just put it in the water? The bottled water or the water that comes out the faucet? I don't know. Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Tabitha writes, I know some folks in Georgia that just got sick. Is something still out there? Don't know what it is. Okay. Bunky writes, why are the whites on Black Americans' bumper to vax the blacks? Fair question. FYI, Biden and the Democrats' child tax credits go to bank accounts today. I'm just saying. That's right. It was like $300. I don't know if we would qualify for something like that in the Ivy household. It's not something that's even on my radar screen. I love the idea of giving cash payments to working class people. Why not? Help the families out there. Got no problem with it. Ugly dudes don't see no parts of the ussy. Well, that's not really true, actually. There's plenty of ugly dudes that's got great personalities. They know how to finesse a woman to get what they want. And there's some women that like ugly dudes, quite honestly. Make them feel, I don't know, sexy or some shit. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I know. I don't know all of the motivations, though. Let me see here. Speaking of incentive programs, Ohio is about to unveil the second COVID vaccination incentive program. You're going to hear more about it within the next few days. It's an attempt to boost the state's vaccination rates. Governor Mike DeWine said just early this week. And the first initiative was the Vax-a-Lottery. And initially it seemed like it had an impact, but then afterward there was an analysis done, and what they found is that basically there was no impact whatsoever. So I'm not sure what they can do to incentivize people. Like, will cash payments work? Yeah, cash can go a long way. But if somebody is anti-vax, then their reasons are deeper than almost any amount of money. Unless you're talking about big money. And it's got to be guaranteed. So if you're making straight up cash payments, let's say they're giving $1,000 to everybody to get the vaccination rates are going to go up. A lottery is still too much like chance. I could get the vaccine and not win. In fact, the vast majority of people that had the vaccine didn't win. That's just not enough of an insurance, of an incentive. If it was direct cash payments, like we paying people $1,000, I'm gonna pay you a stack, $1,000 once you in your bank account from the state of Ohio. Once we confirm you got the vaccination, that would work. So let me ask you this. If the state of Ohio was offering $1,000 for proof of vaccination, would that convince you to get vaccinated? That's what I like to know. 513-873-7134. I already know the answer to it. If the state of Ohio was offering $1,000 for proof of vaccination, would that convince you to get vaccinated? Brandy writes, nope. Okay, Brandy. What if the state of Ohio was offering $5,000 for proof of vaccination? Would that convince you to get it then? Brent writes, whether you're vaccinated or not, continue to wear your mask. I'm with you, Brent. But my question to you is, I just feel like there's a dollar amount for most people. $1,000, okay, that ain't enough. What about $5,000? Brandy writes, no, sir. Okay, I respect that. But how many people do you think would go for that? A lot would go for it. $5,000, shh, that's enough to start your own little business. That's enough to get things started, right? Bo Riding writes, I'll get vaccinated again for $5,000. Give me money. So she said, you can give me double the shots. I'll do it again. See, there's a dollar amount out there, but it's got to be guaranteed. So if they're going to have an incentive program, it's got to be a guaranteed incentive if you really want people to get out here and get vaccinated. A lottery ain't going to work, and donated books is not going to work. Cash rules everything around me. Cash. Good old-fashioned currency. They do that, people will be running to get a vaccination. I'm next. They'll be fighting to get in line. They'd be fighting to get in line like Michael Jordan released a new shoe. You tell me. 513-873-7134. In the world of the NBA, we really don't. They say it's not a real series until the home team loses. And at this point, the home team hasn't lost. So everybody has done what they're supposed to do. But I caught it on YouTube. I didn't watch the game live last night. I caught the highlights live. It was exciting. Up until like 5-6 minutes, it looked like Phoenix was going to win that. But then Milwaukee came back. And, when you got an unstoppable player like Giannis, that goes a long way. I don't know who's going to win the series at this point. I have no idea. Now it's tied 2-2. Nick Wright from First Things First was right. And it's going to be a lot of fun moving forward. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let me see. Game 5 is Saturday night at 9 p.m. in Phoenix. That's going to be real big right there. I'm still rooting for Chris Paul, but honestly, I don't really care who wins. Either way, it's going to be a new champion. I think it's going to be dope, but now that it's a 3-game series, now I might actually watch the whole game. If it's a game 7, I'm definitely going to watch a game 7. I'll watch that shit live. But where my NBA fans up? You happy out there? Okay. Good to hear. Last night was a great game. Absolutely it was. Brandy writes, I hear the vaccine isn't even able to fight off the new strain that's headed our way. So what, we just supposed to keep getting all these random injections? Hell no, not me. I feel you. They talking about you got to get a booster. I told the wifey I ain't doing no boosters. I've gone as far as I'm going to go with it. Danita writes, I really hope people aren't aligning their health to cash. If you don't believe in the vaccine, money shouldn't all of a sudden make it okay. Bo Writing writes, the way the government's doing it now is stupid. Your idea would have been better. Yeah, it's got to be guaranteed. It can't be a lottery. It's got to be quid pro quo. I get the vaccine, I get a $500 check. A lot of people would do it for $500. $500, boom. Cash money, shit. You have so many people that signed up for it, man. You wouldn't believe it. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. If you'd like to share your thoughts this morning, I would love to hear them. Love to hear them. Good morning to you. Oh, nice. I like that. Who is sis? Who is that? Let me see. Oh, that was nice. Nice. I like it. I like all of it. I'm here for all of it. Good morning to you. Bo Writing writes, vaccine hesitancy is killing non-vaccinated people right now at 99%. Kamika writes, the CDC said that no booster is required this time. You're right about that. You're right about that. But the people over at Pfizer are talking about a potential booster, that because at least one study has found that the 2 shots whether it be Johnson & Johnson or Pfizer, in some people is losing its potency. So they think they're covered and not even really covered. Angela Orr writes, I have allergic reactions and don't know until it's in my system. No amount of money would get me to take the vaccine, period. I respect it. Brandy writes, sounds like you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. I think that's a little bit true. Like there's a risk either way. If you don't get it, there's a risk that you might get COVID and have some serious interactions. If you do get it, then you might be one of those people that has an allergic reaction to it and something terrible happens. And or you open the door for you to be a guinea pig in a larger plot. You know, it is what it is. Either way. See here. Let me jump over here. No money for vax. The government is putting stuff in your water, food, and air. Chemtrails. Ray writes, DeWine is contemplating another gimmick to vaccinate. Yeah, he is. 100%. That's what all these governors are doing. And they should be doing something. I mean, they should. They should, 100%. Oh, man, really? Oh, not good. Not good at all. Let me see. Kamika writes, interesting, the anti-COVID vax folks say folks are scared of COVID when they are very clearly scared of the vaccine. Right. It is interesting. But don't see you thinking logically. Yesterday, I reported to you that it's being reported that COVID-19 cases in the United States have doubled over the last 3 weeks due to the Delta variant, lagging vaccination rates, and 4th of July gatherings. It all makes sense. Same thing was happening last year. Exact same thing. Nothing different. But what do you think? Again, 513-873-7134. Let me talk about some local stuff here. So yesterday, and I did not attend, but yesterday there was a big sort of social gathering for the Hamilton County Democrat slate. The Hamilton County Democrats are endorsing a majority of African-American candidates for the first time in my lifetime. I don't know if it's the first time in history, but on their slate are 6 African-American candidates, I believe. I think there's 6 of them. They also put together their endorsements for school board. There's one person that's glaringly not being endorsed, and that's Pamela Bowers. Pam Bowers is a sister. I know that she had the Democrat endorsement last time around because they used my platform to promote it, and she was a part of the promotional the media. Okay, and what I think is so interesting is she's still running for election. She's running for re-election without the Democrat endorsement. I was told that she just really didn't impress and came across as if she had an attitude, during the process, which, I'm not surprised about because of the conversation we had about her vote to send, her position on sending kids back into the schools during COVID. I thought that when she came on this show, I thought it was disrespectful to the audience, not to me. My skin is super thick, but I thought it was disrespectful to the audience and disrespectful to families and parents who are concerned. People were really concerned back then about whether it was the right thing to do for their kids to go back into the public schools. I thought she should have given us more. I thought she should have given us more time. And I thought she should have given us more consideration. And I thought she should have given us more empathy. I thought it was a real bad look for Pamela Bowers. Real bad look. And it looks like, again, from what I've been told, she took that same attitude into the interview process and it cost her. It cost her the endorsement. Now, could Pamela Bowers win re-election without the Democrat endorsement? Absolutely she could. Absolutely, she could. But when people are standing outside, when people are going into the polls in November and they're getting this literature and it's got the Democrat slate and it's got all these names on it, and they're telling you these are the people that we vetted, that's going to go a long way. I think it opens the door for newcomers, somebody new. And we need that. The problems with the school board is not just with Pamela Bowers. They got a few people that's long in the tooth that all need to go. Matter of fact, if I was endorsing candidates, there's only one candidate that I would endorse, and he ain't black. That's the funny thing about it. The black folks that's been on council, on the school board was tripping during COVID. They was tripping. I'm like, what? You got some school board members that need to be, they've been in the job too long. They've been there too long. They got all the connections. They got all the experience. They got all the insight, but that is the problem. We need some new blood. And I'm not saying I'm necessarily caping for the Democrat slate. We need some people that are independent, out of the box thinkers. We need some people on the school board, just like we need on council, that are going to shake things up and not be afraid in very intelligent ways that matter to the community. Not just shaking it up for the sake of shaking it up, but shaking it up for the sake of the people. That's what we need. And to me, that don't mean you necessarily have to have a party endorsement. So I think that this political season is going to be very interesting because of those political scandals. I wonder if that's going to hurt the Democrat brand. I wonder that. And is that going to open the door for independents and charter rights and Republicans to be elected or to be elected to council and to other positions? We'll wait and see. I think it's going to be super interesting. But let's go to the phone, shall we? Let's say good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Fame. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It is always a pleasure. Every time you open that microphone, we as listeners are enriched and ennobled by your presence, your words. And it's just, I feel honored to have such a wonderful talk show host in my local market.
Thank you.
However, yesterday, I was minding my own black ass business. And about 9 o'clock, somebody was like, "Did you visit the neighbor today?" I was like, "No." About 9 p.m. Yeah, they were like, "You listen to Nathan today?" I was like, "No." They're like, "Well, you need to listen to him." But they was talking about you. And lo and behold, I turn on the show, and less than an hour in, it's a 50-year-old nigga serenading me. You let that man call in and serenade me, Nathan, after he threatened my genitals?
Who?
And I see he still worked at Glenn.
He talked about you yesterday?
The only nigga who... Oh, yeah, he called in singing some song and shit.
Oh,
some little slow jingle.
He sure did, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, then he still worked in another genital threat at the end of his call. Right before he hung up. It's like, he serenades me? He was trying to hit high notes. Did you catch that during that song? Like, he was really trying to nail that mug. Then he threatens my genitals. Why do I attract such strange characters on your show?
Because you howl and you call yourself a wolf. So you open the door for it.
So does that mean that on your commercial show, some elderly woman supposed to call in and say that I must be Denzel Washington?
No.
Because I'm the only one that makes her tingle like that?
No. I just answered your question. That's the reason why. You howl, you refer to yourself as a wolf. And so when you go down that line and open the door, then that's what you're going to get. I told you this already.
Did that not happen on your commercial show?
Something like that, vaguely. I can't remember all the details.
Yeah. And now I got a grown man threatening my stuff, serenading me.
You like it?
Singing me slow jams.
You like it?
No, I do not.
Yes, you do.
I'm like really spooked out.
You're not spooked out.
Yes, I am. Like, this is a grown-ass man who live alone with his son. But singing slow jams is on his mind. Singing me slow jams. And threatening my stuff. Just put that in perspective. No matter what I do on this show.
I'm not.
howling, wolves and whatnot. That's one thing. But I ain't never called in and serenaded none of you niggas. I ain't never called in and thought about singing a slow jam to Brent Beard.
I'm not sure what your point is.
I ain't never called in. The dude is a weirdo.
He's a weirdo, but you howl at the end of every phone call. I don't want you to stop, but I'm just saying, brother, you opened the door for the weirdness. You did. You opened up the door. So don't be mad about it.
I didn't say sing another slow jam, this time make it sweet.
Yes, you did.
I never said that.
Yes, you did.
No.
Yes, you did.
No, I never said that.
That's exactly what you did.
I'm getting disgusted in the comments. I was minding my own damn business. Damn, Daryl Erkins up here thinking other people is me. I'm like, I thought a month ago
What
you
other
said you
people?
wasn't going to say my name no more.
What other
La
people?
Media or whoever that was, LaMobda, he thinking that was me. He
Lamilio?
arguing with that person thinking it's me. Whoever was in the comments yesterday,
That is you.
something, that ain't me.
That is you.
I am the Betting Public Sports Show.
Now that's one of them, but you've had multiple, different accounts you jumped in. Well, you think we don't know that?
Nathan. Everybody knows who my aliases are.
Right, and that's one
Hacksaw
of
Jim
them.
Thuggin, Lamibia, or whatever the hell that was. It's not me, but I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
Who is it then?
A long time chopper. I'm not gonna spill their beans. They know who they are.
Yeah,
like you say, certain people have certain syntax.
It's you.
And frame their comments a certain way.
Don't get me wrong, I'm here for it, bro. It adds something to the show. I like it.
Nathan, please stop. That's not me. Okay? That's not me. I don't think that's funny because that's another guy obsessed with me. Just a month ago said he wasn't gonna say my name again, and ever since then, all he's done is say my name.
Well, be flattered by it, then.
Like,
you should be flattered by all this attention you got. Like I said, people like you. That's why they talk about you. You bring a lot of fun energy, and people want to have fun with you, man. Just take it that way.
Well, listen, I know they copy my shit like the minister did. You know what I'm saying? They like totally come in and bite my style. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want to talk about that. But listen, I appreciated Glenn, old boy down in Atlanta, Daryl, and everybody else. I appreciate it. But show your love another way. This shit's getting spooked.
It's no spookier than you calling yourself
I'm gonna
a
be
wolf
honest
and
with you,
howling at the end of every
Nathan.
phone call. It ain't no spookier than that.
I'm
your
gonna ask you
brother. I'm
straight
keeping
up.
it real with you, man.
Just say yes or no without qualification. Do you think Glenn want to give me them cheeks?
I don't even. I'm not even gonna think about that.
I mean, he's singing slow jams to me. Next thing you know, he's gonna be calling the radio.
That's beneath me to even answer that question.
Next thing you know, he's gonna call a radio at 10 o'clock. This will go out the thing.
It's beneath me to even answer and consider that question.
Okay. Well, listen, you were talking about let's move on. You were talking about the game last night.
Yes.
I just want to admit that. I just want to say that. Listen, I've been telling you all this for months. I've never promoted my own podcast, and I don't mean to do that here. But this is something that I've been talking about for months on my show. About how you're not watching legitimate athletic competition. You're watching a television show. And now that the series is tied 2-2, it's guaranteed to go 6 games minimum. There'll be 6 episodes of this television show. The NBA orchestrates these games. And what I do is keep you from the orchestrated game.
You mean they're orchestrating the outcome?
Yes.
Nah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Of course you don't. Of course you don't.
Why would they do that?
Because it's the business of sports. They don't care about people. Their leagues, their businesses, they care about revenues. That's why they're all $10 billion or more industry.
Yeah, but all of that's true. We know that, but that doesn't really prove your point. Like, why would the NBA rig the outcome of the games? What do they get out of that?
Because what's the better story in the NFL? What's the better story? Tom Brady becoming the GOAT and getting 7 rings? or the biracial quarterback who just got paid $500 million winning? What's the better story?
I still
You
don't.
understand?
But you're talking about the NFL.
What's the
We're talking about
better
the
story?
NBA.
What's the better story with the NBA? The non-threatening black Greek guy, he's literally from Greece, but even though he's African, what's the better story? Him presenting a positive image of black males being non-threatening and still winning? Or Chris Paul, for that matter.
The better
So now
story would have been the
they
Lakers
get-
two-peat. That would have been the better story.
That's not an interesting story because
That's a
LeBron
much
isn't
more
interesting
interesting
anymore.
story because the Lakers
LeBron
are
isn't
one of the biggest
interesting
brands
anymore.
in the NBA. And then having a back-to-back champion like that has always been profitable for the NBA.
What's the more important story? That LeBron isn't interesting anymore, sir.
Yes, he is.
He's passé. He's
No, he's
passé.
not.
He's not playing in the Olympics. Nobody, the NBA really don't have much use for him anymore.
That's not
Yeah,
true.
he'll drive ratings. He will drive ratings because he is LeBron. But he's
Right.
more like Jordan on the Wizards at this point. NBA
He's nothing
has
like Jordan on
waning
the
interest
Wizards.
in him.
He's nothing like Jordan on the Wizards. Why would you even say that?
Okay,
He's nothing
Because
like
he
Jordan on
is.
the Wizards.
as far as monetary use to the league,
No, not true.
he can still play, but the league, there's other younger stars that they have to work up now. That's why Chris Paul is not going to win this story. He's not going to win this game because his story isn't as interesting as Giannis's. Even though
What about Devin Booker?
it'd be great what about him? The race indeterminate guy? They already got a couple of them in Golden State.
I'm just saying.
There's nothing special about him.
What about DeAndre Ayton? I mean, to me, whatever the championship is, there's a good story behind it. Whoever
DeAndre
wins.
Ayton took PEDs.
Nobody cares about that.
Oh, they didn't. Why did he get suspended 50 games if nobody cares?
I'm just saying right now. I mean, the NBA cares because you get an unfair advantage. I'm saying the public doesn't care about that. I don't know, man. I mean, we can always agree, disagree. I don't really see it. I think the team that wins, and they create a narrative based upon whoever wins, and it works. That's
Or
it.
they already have a narrative they want to work going into it, and you get the better story.
I
This
mean,
stuff is
I
very
think clearly,
predictable.
yeah. I mean, clearly you could say like this particular star would be great for the NBA, but at the end of the day, the biggest story that works for the NBA is it's a meritocracy and the best team wins. Whether it's a big market team or a small market team, it fits their narrative.
A
The
meritocracy?
NBA wins no matter
A
what.
meritocracy?
I'm just
a
saying the
meritocracy?
NBA wins no matter
A
what. It don't really matter
meritocracy?
who wins the championship, really. The NBA
A
is
league
gonna
of
win.
90% black players. A league of 90% black players are still complaining about not enough black coaches, but it's a meritocracy.
I'm just
What are
saying.
you talking about?
What I'm
No,
talking about is what I
you're saying
just
some
said, fam.
nonsense.
And that is
And
for the
also,
NBA, it doesn't matter who wins. They win no matter what team wins. It don't really matter.
that's not true.
If
They win more
if
depending
LeBron
on
James
which
wins,
team
the
wins.
championship is great. If Milwaukee wins the
Uh-uh.
championship, is great. It works for the NBA at the end of the day, no matter what.
Not necessarily true. They win more
Absolutely true,
depending on who
100%.
wins.
It wouldn't matter
Now,
what
let me
team
say this
won.
before I go.
Go ahead.
Let me say this before I go.
Go ahead.
Once again, I hate to talk about sports, alienate some of the audience, but once again, Stephen A. Smith has shown why he is the best ever. Made a very salient point the other day, and now people are accusing him of xenophobia.
What was his point?
He said that the Japanese baseball player who's like so damn good, he pitches and hits, leads the league in home runs, and is one of the best pitchers this year. What's his name? Shohei Ohtani. Stephen A. Smith said it's a problem that he doesn't speak English and uses an interpreter. This is a very basic, salient fact
Why is
that
it a
he's
problem?
pointing out. Because how are you going to market to Americans and you can't speak to them? It's the same thing Tito Trinidad had as a boxer. You're so damn good, but you won't learn English. That's why we love Roberto Duran, because he talked to us. He could speak English. Tito Trinidad can't. The best three baseball players, the Japanese guy and two Dominicans, none of them speak English. But baseball is a completely American invention. That's the problem with the waning interest in baseball. All the best players' last name end with a Z
I think he's wrong about
because
that.
they're Latin. Yeah, listen, but the point is, whether he's right or wrong, he said that, and people started cussing at their phones. You see what I'm saying? That's why he's the best ever. He makes you cuss at your phone over the most basic, benign stuff. You know, that's why he's better than Cosell, better than anybody who's ever done this. Respect that man, even though he's a signifying monkey and a professional Negro, but he's the best ever at what he does. And that's all I got today, B. It's been real. I had fun, and we'll talk about this again some other day. But until then, I'll leave you with the signature of the alt middle.
So Stephen A. Smith made some. I'm looking at it. It was not on my radar screen. Quote: I don't think it helps that the number one face is a dude that needs an interpreter so you can understand what the hell he is saying in this country. And I don't give a damn. What does it matter? I don't think it really matters whether he can speak English or not. You know what I'm saying? Who cares? If he out there crushing Major League Baseball, he crushing Major League Baseball. I don't give a damn. So what? This is Stephen A. Smith trying to be a good Negro. As an American, you've got to speak English. This is nothing more than racism and xenophobia dressed up to be some type of articulate sports take. And then he turned around and apologized for it. So if he really meant it, why you apologize? If there was no if you didn't say anything offensive, why apologize? Because it was offensive, that's why. I don't get it. But you know, it is what it is. See, I'm so disconnected from baseball, I had no idea. None whatsoever. That was Fame calling in belly aching. Why they keep talking about me? Stop talking about me. Crystal writes, good morning. Bunky writes, it's ironic how those who are vaccinated are vax shaming the people who choose not to vaccinate. I'm vaccinated. I'm not vax shaming anybody. Like, I totally understand it. I get it 100%. 100% I understand where you're coming from. I understand why. Angela writes, my thing is, why are they so hard on us as black people to get vaccinated? I don't trust it. It's not even FDA approved. There's two ways of looking at it. There's two reasons why they're so hard on black people. One is because there's a plot and they're trying to give you something that's going to either control you or have some kind of like negative impact on your health in the future. The other reason is because they are concerned about the spread of it in the community and they're trying to help people and help people keep safe. Those are the two reasons, right? Either it's a plot that's got some nefarious end to it, or it's a health campaign trying to keep people healthy. To me, those are the only two options. And you have to decide what you think it really is. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, comrade.
Good morning. Good morning, comrade. Welcome.
Thank you. Hey, before I get into what I want to talk about, Sam makes a good point about what Stephen A. said. Yeah, people can agree or disagree, but one thing they can't deny is Stephen A. Smith's going to get your attention. You know, if you watch the fight game, if you watch the evolution of fighters learning English, especially when they come to fight in Vegas and LA and all that, because they want to endear the fans. Like, I know about Otani because I saw him on 60 Minutes before he even hit the league. So I already knew this guy was going to be like Babe Ruth. And, you know, it takes time for these guys to learn English. He ain't there yet, but I would say he's 26, 27. In about 3-4 years, he needs to know how to speak English if he wants to become a global star. That's true. He has to learn the language if he wants to go to the next level of this game. He can hit 30, 40, hit 50 home run, you know, year after year and be a Hall of Famer. But he won't be endeared by the American fans unless he speaks English. Like Canelo had to learn English. Manny Pacquiao had to learn English. Okay? These guys who want to go over here and make money in America as sports stars, they have to learn the language. So Stephen A. is getting accused of xenophobia or whatever, But it's whatever. I'm not even paying attention to those folks. So those are the fake woke people. Like they had some Asian guy on TV talking about how offensive Stephen A. Smith, what he said was offensive, but he couldn't describe how it was offensive. You see what I'm saying? It's just like trying to shame a black dude for having an opinion. But that's neither here nor there for me. Ohtani's I've seen him play. He's a superstar, but he has to learn the language if he wants to become a global type of athlete that is going to be respected throughout the world, especially in America, where the game is played here. But have you been watching? I guess I read yesterday they had an Ohio Board of Education meeting. Did you know about that? It's like the whole state.
I did not know about it until afterward.
Oh, okay. I just read about it this morning and thought it was interesting. What did you think about the article? Describing like how they tried to use a resolution denouncing racism, and people assumed it was critical race theory. You see how people go for the head fake all the time?
Yeah, I do see it.
So now they want to get an opinion from David Yost about whether it's a resolution, whether their resolution is legit, whether it teeters on critical race theory. I found it to be amazing. It's an intellectual challenge, I guess, for some folks to be able to separate racism in schools from critical race theory in schools. I don't know. I found it to be kind of funny, but I didn't know if you was aware of that. I just thought that's going to be a debate that's now it's in Ohio, it's going to continue.
It is going to continue. I agree with you.
So I ain't got too much else after that. Giannis and them are back in the game. I told you, bro. What I tell you when you asked me it was over 2-0. I said, bro, I don't think so. And here we go. Now we got the best of 3.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun moving forward.
For sure. Whoever win Game 5, I think is going to probably win the series.
I think statistically you'll be right about that. Yep.
But you never know. We'll see.
Phoenix has home field advantage, so if they win Game 5 and lose Game 6, Game 7 is back in Phoenix, so it's going to be on.
Right? Yeah. If Milwaukee takes Game 5, I'm going to just go out here and limit that they're going to clinch.
All right.
Other than that, man, ain't nothing else going on. You have a fantastic day.
You too. It's Black Russia calling in all the way from somewhere in a secret location in Russia. Appreciate him. He's got dual citizenship, United States and Russia. He spends half his time in Cincinnati, the other time in Russia. I think, anyway. All right, folks. So that is my time. I really appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for checking out the show today. I'll be back with you and hopefully better than ever tomorrow morning, bright and early. We'll chop it up. Have an excellent and tremendous Thursday. We'll talk real soon. Until next time, I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.